4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. We live stream it on YouTube and Facebook. It's meant to be participative. If you register at probateweekly.com, it's a live Zoom call where you're welcome to come in and ask questions and make it participative. Generally, I'm Bill Gross. I'm a real estate broker based in Los Angeles. I had a national team of probate experts around the country. I have 1,600 in my EXP probate group. I have about 1,500 in my Facebook group that's free to join at Probate Experts in Facebook. And I do this every week. I'm a practitioner. I'm not selling probate data or systems or coaching. I do a little bit of coaching more for fun, but the reality is I'm a practitioner in this business. I'm sharing with you what I do, what I need to do, and what my team needs to do for us to be successful. And I'm really looking to do this with you as a colleague rather than so you are doing something that I'm not doing. So I'm going to talk about today are things that I do every day, or more importantly, need to be reminded of to do as I plan out my business for the coming year. Before we start, I was sharing with a couple of people that I just closed my 2 biggest commission checks, my biggest of my lifetime commission check, and my biggest month in terms of commissions ever. And as a result, just have a fantastic year. I'm finishing up and really working towards next year. Took a new listing in downtown LA. Got some great listing leads across the country. So I'm really excited about the business, what it's done for me. And just to share with you, I started 4 years ago, November 1st, from scratch. I'd been in management and coaching and worked for 2 companies in a row where both the companies, I think, hit some serious roadblocks in their growth. And decided I didn't want to have my business life limited by owners that didn't know what they're doing. And so I started over again in production. I walked away from a job where I was making about $250,000 a year. And I knew I could make more, and I have as a salesperson selling houses. And I built a business, and that's an important distinction we're talking about today. I built a business so that not only can I make money and create wealth, but it's a business would be something that will provide for me and my family when I stop working, whatever that is, when I stop working full time. So today, normally I have guests on here and attorneys and vendors and such, and I have a great attorney next week who does evictions in particular. And I think we had a great attorney on last week, does estate planning from around the country. But today I want to talk about launching or relaunching your real estate business, because this is where I'm at today. I am taking about the next week or so to really replan my business for 2023. Normally I do it in December, but it just turns out I closed a bunch of business. I'm coming off the Jewish holidays. The market's changed, and I have some great opportunities, and so I'm going to be rethinking. But I'm going to share with you really the foundations of a business. So whether you are a real estate agent struggling, looking to ramp it up, or you're a new agent looking to launch your business, or you're a real estate agent looking to move out of one phase into probate real estate, today we're going to talk about, I think, the fundamental foundations of launching your real estate, here's the key word, business, not a job. So number one, I'm going to say of all the foundational things you got to work on and have a plan on to daily work on is your mindset. Nothing will work if your mindset's not right. 90% of transformation in anything is your mindset. You can change who you are, you can change what you are by changing what goes into your mind. And so I just challenge you all to take an inventory of what you watch, listen to, and read, and upgrade them. Read better books. I tend to fall back to magazines, and that's one of my guilty pleasures. I want to get into my personal interests and such, but trying to upgrade to books more often, and what I'm reading as well. What I listen to when I walk for exercise daily for about an hour. While I'm working, I play music and or certain videos. What we watch and what we listen to. And you change those 3 things. That's from Zig Ziglar. You can change who you are, you can change what you are, but change what goes in your mind. And so before you think about, I'm a realtor, I'm a business, know that your mindset isn't right. Generally speaking, it's because we're looking for the easy way out. We got to toughen up and we got to make ourselves into stronger people to be able to do more, get more done, to be more value to our customers, to get paid more. That starts with your mindset. Hey, before going any further, I just want to say this is meant to be participative. At any time on the topic I'm talking about, feel free to put a question in, raise your hand in the Zoom. If you're on the Zoom, put a question in the chat box with a question. And if I get to that spot, I will be glad to answer it or bring you in and have you ask a question and talk about it. But this is meant to be participative, okay? But I'm saying to you things I'm saying out loud, I'm reading myself, and actually I'm going to be rewriting out my business plan on the board behind me really tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. These are the activities I'm actually working on. But number one's mindset. And so I'm upgrading what I'm watching, listening to, and reading. I bought a bunch more books. I got Audible to download some books when I listen to, make sure I'm a little tightening up on what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, and putting in my mind. Number two is, once you figure out what you want to do, you're going to need to create a plan. Now, for me, what I tell people is when you write a business plan, every plan that's ever been done that was successful went through a couple changes or iterations and hit periods where it was hard work, where we wanted to quit. We have to push through that. So I tell people, at a minimum, commit to 30 days, and probably in business, if it's something that's proven, probably 90 days. Doesn't mean longer than that. Don't make a year-long. That's why I like year-long business plans. I love goals for a year, but the plan is 90 days at a time. And so you really need to work on what's your plan going to be. And a plan is a series of activities designed to get a certain result. So what I want to say is, for me, I identified, and if you go to my YouTube channel, 11 ways you can sell real estate, i.e. as a listing agent, 11 different ways you can represent people as a listing agent. I figured out 11 ways you can make money in probate real estate, and 11 ways you can buy probate real estate. So I decided to focus in on that niche. And just me, I figured out 33 different ways you can make money, any one of which would be a business. I put in the chat box a link to 3 videos I did, one on 11 ways to get listings, one on 11 ways to make money, one on 11 ways to sell to buyers probate real estate. So you got to pick your niche or 2 or 3. And really in lead generation, I find that if you start with one and then add a second, and then add a third, that's ideal for me. When I was a general real estate agent, or maybe I would call a retail real estate agent, when I started, I was in expired listings. And I followed the Mike Ferry system, and I cold called daily, 4 hours a day, 8 to 12 expired listings every day. The goal was to make 40 contacts a day, set 1 appointment every day. That was the plan. In probate real estate, it can look the same. You can contact petitioners, people do. You could cold call attorneys, that's another way. But I actually identify 11 different ways to get listings. Going to court's another one. Calling in networking, calling senior caregivers. That's Mom's House. I interviewed today Philip, the founder of Mom's House. Great system. I know somebody who made a living just calling sales reps at various senior care centers. Let me check that. I'm sorry about that. Somebody just said they went on the video and it shows as private. Oh wow, look at it, it's only got 2 views. Sorry about that. Edit video. Hold on one second here. Technical problem. I gave you guys a link to the 11 ways to buy, and apparently it is private, but I can fix that by making it public. There we go, and done, and save. Okay, good. That one's private. Ramika, thank you so much, and that should be private. I'm public right now. Okay. If you can confirm with me that you got it, that'd be great. Okay, so where was I? You can pick your ways of doing it. I was an expired listing person. In probate, there's 11 different ways to get listings that I've identified. And I don't think there's any one that's right. There are companies that sell data, and so they're going to teach you how to use their data. I think if they're going to sell you the data, they need to teach you how to use it properly. There's a great company, RedX, that has a great data source of other types of data, and a great CRM and calling center. I talked to the owner or one of the managers there about adding probate data, because I think they have a great tool, and probate data would be a good piece for them to add in. But it doesn't matter. You need to find the right plan for you. And what I know in talking to my coach, Don Hobbs, who founded Hobbs Herder Advertising years ago. He's my sponsor at XP Realty. He said when you find the right niche and the right strategy for it, it will jump at you. It'll jump off the page. And so if you haven't found it yet, it's because you haven't found the right one. It should be your prospecting method should be something that really works for you and agrees with you. When I was cold calling expireds, I loved it. I did that for years, for 4 or 5 years. When I started cold calling by going to court every day, I loved it. I did that for about 2 years. Loved it. It was COVID that stopped me from doing it. Now I go online and I host this live stream and a bunch of other live streams. I love that. It's been fun. I'm sure I'll get bored of it soon. I'll find some other thing to do. You've got to find your system, your methodology that works for you. And I think if you just look at a bunch of them, you'll find one or two that will jump off the page as the right one for you. You have to, when you in your plan though, you also have to commit to learning. I get asked all the time, well, how do I get the best leads? The answer is not an activity. The answer is a process. The answer is commit yourself to mastering this skill. It'd be no different than if you want to be a pro football player. Well, within pro football, there's guys who are bigger and guys who are faster, or guys who are both big and fast. But if you're the big guy, a lineman, right, you're going to do more weights than other people are going to do. And if you're a smaller guy, you're going to do more running and agility work than the others are going to do. And if you're the small guy, you got to be better at the agility than anybody to play pro football. Similarly, in probate, you need to be the expert in your niche of generating the business, your county, and your state laws, and commit to that process. I can just tell you that I've seen more court confirmation sales in LA County than any judge, than any attorney, and probably any realtor. There's another realtor who might. He's not really a retail realtor in the way that I am. With that one possible exception, than anybody. And I've seen more online because I watch all the other agents' business. I track every single sale. I've read every single court minute order on every sale in LA County for the last 3 years. Nobody's done that. I am the expert in that. You pick your area, put a circle around it, and you be the expert of that. Maybe you're the expert of LA County probate sales in the eastern part, and you know the geography better. Maybe you know the attorneys in that area better. Maybe you know your state. You're in a smaller county in North Carolina, and you know the North Carolina state laws and the county rules better than anybody. But whatever it is, that knowledge is part of your lead generation system. And again, it's not the answer to how do I get business is not an activity. It's you committing to a process and you learning the right answer for you. I was listening today to a coach I respect a lot talk about direct mail and his input on direct mail. But that's direct mail in his neighborhood, in his counties, in his state. I suspect mailing in Virginia, in let's say semi-rural Virginia, is different than Los Angeles, California. Who thinks it'd be different? I assume it is. I would think one postcards are better and one letters are better. I would think one handwritten are important and one not as important. And so you need to be the expert in your area. Test your mailers, learn the results. If you're going to spend the money, don't just do it because somebody else tells you that's what to do. Maybe start there. We have to start someplace. But the answer is the process of you learning and iterating and improving as you go along. So commit to that. Now, how do you learn? I do this call for free every week, probateweekly.com. All the past episodes are at episodes.probateweekly.com. If you register, you'll get an email reminder every time and a link to their calls. Chad Corbett has Probate Master. It's fantastic. ProbateMastery.com is the website. He's got a call. I host many times for his Tuesday noon call. Free. Watch what other people do, not necessarily just to copy them, but to find one little extra tweak to your system to make it better. So commit to learning. I teach a class, getprobate.cash, not .com, but getprobate.cash, teaching agents, investors, how to use probate advances to get more business and make some money. And researching for that, I got a list of all the companies that have ever done that work. I believe I have a database of them. Those are in business, and the 28 that I've ever identified, and the 7 or 8 are out of business. I found law review articles on that business. I found a consumer report article on that business. I've read everything there is that I can find published on that. And I believe that has taught me tricks, tips, systems, methods other people wouldn't even think of. And so you want to learn to be the expert in your particular niche, in your particular geography, in your county, in your state. So commit to learning. That's number 2. Episodes.probateweekly.com. George, episodes.probateweekly.com. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad to make you able to access that. So number 1, I said if you want to launch your business or relaunch your business in probate real estate, number 1 is mindset. Number 2 is creating a plan. and you pick your focus, whatever that is, and commit to learning. You iterate that process over and over again. Number 3 is then you have to have your foundation. Whatever you do to generate business, at the end of the day, all you're going to do is create a bunch of people who are prospective customers, prospects, or leads, their name, their address, their phone number, their company, their details, the notes. So you have to build that list and then add to it until they do business with you. So you add to that list constantly new people, new prospects, new leads, and somehow contact them at a certain cadence until they convert. Now, a lot of companies sell really fancy marketing systems, send an email every 2 days and a text, and then they mail something out. All that stuff is great. Personally, I try to keep it simple. I email something to everybody I've ever met once a week. Exception maybe realtors, without getting into too much detail, but every prospective customer, every prospective referral source, I send an email every single week to all of them. One email to everybody. And I video it, and I put it on my YouTube channel, and I put it on my social media, and they all get an email. Could I do something more customized? Of course. Can you do more detailed campaigns? Of course. At least do that. You can add past that. So your foundation is that list. And then at least something to them you email weekly. You post your social media. You try to make sure that those people you're friends with or connected with via social media as well. Facebook, LinkedIn, however you do that social media stuff. That's your foundation. Within that, your goal is to be able to connect to people as many ways as possible. Phone call, email, social media, text, mail, snail mail. I don't mail everybody, but I do mail my high-profile contacts, attorneys, referral sources, past clients. I mail them postcards, I mail some gifts, personalized gifts. People come on my show as guest hosts or guests. I send them a coffee mug with my company logo on it, and brownies and a thank you card. I do mail stuff too. So getting that information is really important. The goal is to get as much of a connection with those people as possible to get them to do business with me, particularly referral sources, attorneys and such. For me, for you, it might be placement personnel, it might be salespeople at an adult center. It could be, estate planning attorneys. It could be wealth management people. It could be bankers. Whatever your niche is, you want to collect those people's contacts and then engage with them in a way that gives value to them so they want to give business to you. Your goal is to filter information on them, and then a couple tags you want to have. If you're going to do probate business, you want to tag them as estate plan, yes, no, or I don't know. Because one of the key things, and I talk about that on my YouTube on the 11 ways, is you want to use estate planning as a tool to position yourself as an expert to help your clients. Everybody who owns a property in California should have a estate plan, probably a living trust. And that way they can avoid probate. So I both work probate and I teach people how to avoid probate. And so I want to ask people, do you have an estate plan? If the answer is yes, I can ask, well, who's your attorney? Who did it? Are you happy with them? Can I refer people to them? And if the answer is no, well, would you like me to introduce you to somebody who can help you get a estate plan put together to help you avoid probate if necessary? Eva, the answer is yes. Getprobate.cash is a website for how to use probate advances. So you want to tag vendors and put notes in. If they're, I found at the court a bond company, so I can contact them to help my customers get probate bonds. Probate advance companies, of course, appraisers, probate referees, of course, attorneys, non-probate attorneys, bankruptcy attorney, eviction attorney. I want all those people in my Rolodex, insurance agents. So I have tags for people so I know what they are to target them specifically and get referrals to them. Also, you need to have a few vendors in your database. Within the estate planning field, I think you need to have 3 people. You need to have a beginner or starter package. I use trustandwill.com as a default because they're inexpensive. You have to have an intermediate, and you have to have a high-end expert for high net worth people. Those are all different attorneys in my book. You also could have male, female. Some people prefer male, some female, some geographic. In my case, West LA versus the Valley versus Orange County. Get somebody who's local to them. And that way, if you have two good probate attorneys, two good estate planning attorneys, you can refer the ones closest to them. Mark Perdue says, if assets in California more than $100,000, you need estate planning. Yeah, I would say for sure if you own a house in California, you do. If you have kids, you do. And then you also want to kind of take note of their price point and specialties. Once you have your database built and you've tagged people properly and you've added in key vendors, then you want to leverage that with your social media because you want to post about estate planning, how to avoid probate. You want to find good, interesting, relevant content that you enjoy as a real estate professional and share that with your tribe. And then you want to interview people on video. That's why I started doing video interviews. I would interview attorneys, vendors, really anybody. I did a wealth planner today. Because I want my tribe to meet the best people. I want them to learn. I want to be a resource for them. The biggest challenge people have with social media, there's two. One is they're scared, and the only answer there is just hit the button and record. If you do enough times, you get over it. And the second is, what do I say? And the answer is, what you say is how to help people, how to help your tribe. And as you learn, anything you learn, you can share. There's a great movie, Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he impersonates various people, including a high school teacher. He was high school age. He was teaching high school class. They asked him, well, how did you do that? How did you pass off being a teacher? And he said, all I had to do was learn a chapter ahead of the class. And so for you guys, when you learn anything in real estate, you share that with your tribe, you're ahead of them. You find information that you find interesting, share with them, and tell them why you think it's interesting. So that's number 3, your foundation. We gather all the names and data, we organize it, we curate the data so we can identify who we can refer to, who we're looking to target. And then we're always building our vendor list so we can be more valuable. And then we share that with our social media strategy. That's number 3, is our foundation. Number 4 is get into action. So you need to spend about 3 hours a day. I think of myself as up until noon on a work day, generating new business every day. That could be door knocking. That could be cold calling. That could be going to a networking event. That could be doing online networking events. It could be going to court. I used to go to court. So your goal is to talk to about 25 people a day as a minimum. You want to track how many you talk to. And then more importantly is you want to set appointments. When I went to court every day, my goal was to meet 1.5 people per day. Obviously, I was looking for 2, and some days I got 2, and some days I got 1. But at the end of the week, I'd won 7.5. Because I met them already. I didn't have to go meet them. I already met them at court. A little different. But you have to have the metrics, and if you don't have enough, you have to raise your metrics. So I would suggest if you're cold calling today, you probably have to talk to more people on the phone than you have in the past. If you're talking to just say expired listings, or if you're talking to say, circle prospecting. Probate, is going to get more competitive. More realtors are entering into the space. It's getting more, there's more people taking the classes and learning because whatever else they were doing isn't working as much. So you got to be prepared to talk to a lot of people. But whatever it is you're doing, you need to spend minimum 3 hours a day, in my mind, really until noon every day, generating new business. That's your primary job if you're in real estate. Now, I want to caution you, this is where realtors get off track, and investors could too. If all you do, if you're a Mike Ferry trained agent, and all you do is grind every day for 3 or 4 hours for your whole career, you really just create a job for yourself. Because once you stop making those phone calls, you stop getting leads. The goal is to build a business where people are referring you business, where people are naturally coming back to you for business, for repeat and referral business. And then ideally where the business runs without you. That's the goal. So how are you going to get to that spot? If you're starting, you're not there yet. If you're starting, you're the first employee. But you want to keep in mind the goal is not to do that the rest of your career. The goal is to do that to get things launched and to figure it out and then design yourself out of the business. And that's where I'm getting to. I'm building a team now. I have 35 people on my team. And we're, I now refer out more listings that I have to take myself, which is great because I do a portion of the work. And over time, I'll be able to delegate that as well. So you have to think about that at some point in time. What do you want your business to look like? But I'm also a little bit towards a little longer in my career than most of you at this stage. Okay, so that's the basis of the plan. Let me just review the 4 points. I said, if you want to launch or relaunch a business, number 1 is mindset. And this is really important. Don't skip this step. What are you watching, listening to, and reading? And the first thing is get rid of everything you're doing now if you want to transform and replace it with good stuff. Watching TV, or listening to the radio, every half hour, 20 minutes is content, 10 minutes is news. News is toxic. Think of the news as like toxic energy. Think of the news as toxic. The ads are toxic. The ads are never really about uplifting, or very rarely. They're almost always about, you have a problem and this product will solve it for you. That's why we don't have cable in my house. I watch YouTube, but I have YouTube Premium, so it cuts out the ads. So I can watch a program I want to watch without watching any ads. Mindset's critical. Number 2, create your plan. You have to pick your focus area. Don't get caught up in probate. All you can do is buy the data and cold call petitioners. I've identified 33 different ways you can make a living in this business. And that's just me. I'm sure there's more. And each of those 33, there's probably 10 different ways to do each one of them. Find your path. Find your method. Call me with it. Let's talk about it. In the process of your plan, commit to learning. And then number 3 is build your foundation. Foundation is a list of all the database, format so it's usable, practical, and the resource you use to help customers refer out business, refer out leads. Leverage that with social media. And then number 4 is get into action. And action means talking to people about business. Action is not sitting on this. Can I tell you guys, let us see the answer chat box. Why do you think I do this call at 4 p.m. on Thursday? I know I get better attendance if I did it at 10 or 11 or 12. Why do you think I do it at 4 p.m.? Anybody want to guess? Raise your hand if you want to guess, if you're brave, or put in the chat box.
People
Why do you think I do this?
Ending their workday, so they're able to get on the call.
I don't think I get better attendance at 4 o'clock. That's not why I did it. Patricia, I wouldn't argue with you about it, but that's not why I did it. And I don't think, I've often thought if it was just about attendance, I would move it to 9 or 10 or 11. Why do you think I do it at 4 o'clock? No, we do the 5 o'clock one. That's a little different. That's for buyers. That's a little different. It's not professional, business to business. For the committed, okay, maybe. That's not why I did it.
So you can work both.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I did it at 4 o'clock because that's a good time for me, because I'm not going to do it in the morning. I'm supposed to be doing what?
Prospecting,
or lead generation, or business development, or generating new business. That's what I do till 12. I don't, now do I host a Zoom meeting or 2? Yeah, but those are lead generation focused Zoom calls. And to be honest, I have mixed emotions when I do them. But when I started this one, I said, sure as heck, I'm not going to do it before 1 o'clock because I work till noon and I take a lunch break, I do a little exercise, and come back to work about 1:30 is my general flow. So I could do it at 1:30 or 4 o'clock. I picked 4 o'clock. But I would never do it before, because why? I got to make my phone calls. I got to talk to people. I got to follow up on leads. I got to, that's the business. It's business development. So I like to say I walk that walk. Now, I got asked to host Chad Corbett's Probate Mastery Call on Tuesdays. That was really a big honor. My coach asked me to do it. I had an audience built in, 80 people a week. So I kind of made a little bit of an exception for that. But to be honest, other than that, I really don't like to do stuff in the morning like that. Okay, so that's what I would call the plan to relaunch or launch your business. Mindset. Number 1, pick your niche or plan. Build your database. And then get in action. Simple as that. Simple, not easy. Eva asks, can I use PropStream to get probate leads? I don't know if PropStream has probate data or not. I don't use them for that. I don't subscribe currently to PropStream. They're a great service for primary foreclosures, for all kinds out of area. Let me see. I'm on the website right now. Pre-probate they have, pre-foreclosure. This you can really niche down the properties, bankruptcy, divorce. I don't think they do probate. I think probate costs more, but you can pick properties that are free and clear or have loans on them, look for short sales. It's about $100 a month. It's great it's not for probate. They'll sell pre-probate. Companies, I've never met anybody who uses pre-probate and made money at it. I've had companies pitch me pre-probate and how great it is from people who never have called one of them or ever listed one property or bought one from pre-probate. I've never had anybody who what I would call a practitioner tell me they've used pre-probate data. I think it's one of those ideas that sounds easy, but it isn't. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I'm certainly open to being wrong and like to learn. If you're the exception, and would tell me privately, tell me. But I don't think I am. I think I'm pretty much on this. I just don't think pre-probate really works. I don't know anything about Freedom Soft. I've never heard of it. So anyhow, but pre-probate, I think is just one of those things that, and I listen to people who haven't sold a house in 10, 20 years. Oh, we've got pre-probate and they're great and they're the best, they're this and that. And I often think, I don't think so. It's easier. I know that pre-probate data is cheaper than probate data because you can buy a tape and get all the obituary data and just cross-reference the phone numbers. In most counties, you have to go to the county to get the data for probate. That's why probate data is more expensive. You need to be committed to it. Okay, questions about launching your business, not mine, not somebody else's, but who here has questions on launching their business? I think I've got all the questions in the chat box. I'm pretty sure I'm up to date. Yeah, I think I'm up to date. Any questions on any of that? Who besides me has to really rethink what's my business going to be like next year? Things are different. Anybody? I'm saying that I made a lot of money this year. I made a lot of money this month. I'm going to do real well next month. But the business is changing. And for me, I feel like this is my opportunity. I'm going to take my leverage, my success, my data, my money, my debt, my ability to borrow money if I want to borrow money, and I'm going to put it all on and double down. I think this is the opportunity. This is like probably the opportunity of my lifetime to end my career on. I'm going to make a fortune in the next few years. Okay, should I get a separate website for probate? I'm big on reinvesting money, not spending it in advance. I think as real estate agents and investors, we get pitched so many ways to spend money. And I just see agents, like I do pay for probate content. I subscribe to allthese.com website, but I don't use their website. I use their website and I pay for it with their permission to take the content and put it into my company issued with the XP Realty website. I mean, I think it's nice to have. I don't think I've got one listing because I had the website. I don't think it's worth spending the money on. I think once you start making good money, you have to have certain things to look the part, right? I have to look a certain way online, but I don't think I would spend the money. I don't think getting a probate website is going to be a return on investment in the first year or two of your business. I think you're going to focus on what's your return for the investment. And when you're new and starting out, you need about a 90-day maximum return time. I would spend money anything that took longer than that. Sherry asks me, was it all in probate? Sherry, I'm not sure what you're asking about. Was it all what in probate? I can't tell. Is your question, was all my business in probate? So what I'll say to you is, yeah, in terms of sales. So what I'll say is that all my lead generation activity is probate, plus everybody I've met, my foundation, my center of influence, I send them all stuff every week on real estate. So once I've met people, once I've targeted them, once I've talked to them, but of my closings, either they were a probate sale or they were referred by somebody for a probate sale. So for example, I have a escrow with Patricia, actually, my listing, and she has the buyer, where it's not a probate sale, but a probate attorney that I do business with had settled the probate. And then we were left with two parties who were conflicted. One wanted to sell, one didn't. So then I helped them find I helped one of the parties find an attorney to force what's called a partition sale, to force the sale. The other party had an attorney, and now both attorneys agreed, and we're selling the property. So technically it's not a probate sale, but I got it from the probate attorney that referred me the business. So I will say, Sherry, not all my sales are probate. I sold an industrial property that wasn't probate, but my client bought it at probate court on the 11 ways to represent buyers. One of the ways is representing buyers in probate court. So we bought the property, and then he fixed it up and sold it. I listed it when he sold it. So I will say that not all my sales are probate, but I will say that all my business generation activities are probate. And have you worked with a commercial probate sale? Yeah, I have one pending with Patricia. We have a restaurant on Meadows Boulevard. I just closed an industrial property on Jefferson, and I closed a combination industrial / commercial retail on Atlantic Boulevard as well. So I've definitely done commercial probate. I've done land. Probate, you do all kinds of stuff. And what I'd recommend, and the reason why are they difficult? Sherry, are you a real estate agent or investor? If you want to mute yourself, you could raise your hand, or you could, I can chat. Again, this is meant to be participative, so.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Sherry?
How you doing? Hey, everybody. How you guys doing this evening?
We're doing great. So are you a real estate agent or investor? What do you do, Sherry?
I own a real estate company here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hotlanta.
I'm in Powder Springs, actually.
Oh, okay. Where's that?
It's about 25 minutes west of Atlanta.
Okay.
So
I have a team member. I have a team member the other direction in Athens, Georgia. So, in fact, I just interviewed today a wealth advisor from Athens as well. Just kind of. So I've been in Georgia this morning a little bit.
Oh, nice, nice.
So answer your question. And so, are you a real estate agent, or what do you do?
I am a real estate agent. I've been in real estate over 20 years. Oh, long.
Oh my gosh! Since you're 10 years old.
Thanks. So I've seen the market do a lot of things, and I started looking at probate and studying probate since October of last year, because I wanted to kind of separate myself and do something like niche market that I didn't think a lot of realtors were chasing at the time.
Yeah. And so are you independent real estate company? Are you with a national franchise? Or you?
I'm independent. I have my own small real estate company.
So what I'd say to you is the challenge you have, I happen to be part on purpose of a national company. It has tremendous resources. One of the things that we had was a free commercial training. It was like a 2 or 3 day overview of commercial real estate, of all the different products. And it was great, and it was free. In fact, if you email me, I'll be glad to send you a link to it. I think it's coming up in November again. You don't have to join the company. Of course, we're going to try to recruit you, because that's what we do.
Yeah, you guys are always trying to recruit me.
Because I can see why you have that edge. But what I'd say is, I took that for years. I really passed on commercial, and I really felt like I missed out. And so about 2 years ago, when they first offered it for free, it was like, I think it was either 2 or 3 days, and I did it, and it was great. And I realized it's not complicated. Now, it might be harder to compete for listings in commercial, but I'm not really competing for listings in commercial. I'm competing in probate. And I can either bring in a partner if I felt like I need it. But to be honest, I sold this year probably almost $20,000 worth of commercial business between land and commercial. And I didn't need anybody else. It is not that complicated. Probates tend to be vacant. It's different if you have a multi-family, like an office building with 10 floors and different leases and lease rates and cap rates and net rates and all that. But the kind of properties that you tend to get in probate, if somebody owns a business and they pass and the business goes with it, and now you have the property to sell. So I would urge you to check it out. And I don't think it's as complicated as it's made out to be. I do, myself, try to urge real estate agents to either add commercial or connect with somebody in commercial and partner with them.
I'm connected with a commercial group now. I literally just started with them, and they've been in commercial, and people are doing very well in the program. So yes, because I do want to branch out. I've been in residential forever. I've done maybe
forever. God, how old are you? Forever.
I'm 53.
Oh my gosh.
I just had a great life, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. Okay. Or great hair or something. Great lighting or great camera. Something's working for you.
And I'm a grandmother. I have a 15-month-old grandson.
Oh my. Well, I have a 14-month-old grandson. I bet mine's cuter than yours.
I don't know about that. And
No,
this
I
is the
do
first
know.
grandson.
Mine too. My first also. So
Oh,
I know
wow.
mine's cuter than yours. So anyhow. Yeah, I would definitely urge you to again, that's why I went to go back to what I talked about in building your business, commit to learning this. And I think what I did was in LA County, I took the list of all the probate properties and started noticing, well, how many are commercial and how many are not. And I noticed them and I went after them a little harder. And as a result, like I said, one of my clients bought a $2 million industrial property that he turned and flipped for $2.75 million. He made good money. I made good money. Everybody was happy. So I would definitely not back off of the commercial stuff if I were you.
I'm not. It's
Okay.
very interesting. It's a very interesting area of real estate. I was intimidated by it for years, and I'm like, you know what? I won't be intimidated by it. I need to expand and branch out.
I find it hard to believe you'd be intimidated by anything, but anyhow. Sure. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, Mark Pedroza makes a good point. And if you do a good job and they're satisfied, the referrals will come word of mouth, definitely. And the same with the commercial. The question I always ask is, am I going to serve the client? And would the client rather have me represent them on the seller's property or somebody else? And in my area, now every market's different. In Los Angeles, we have CoStar, which is LoopNet. And what I learned was you can buy advertising for one listing at a time. At one time I had 5 listings, and each one you can create a nice brochure online, download the brochure. You can also email out to interested parties as a result of that. And so I really could do a first-rate job of marketing my property in my area. Now, I can't speak for Atlanta or other markets you guys are in. You need to investigate that. But if you can offer the professional service. The other thing I've learned, having now closed multiple commercial and properties, is that commercial agents don't know as much as we do. I mean, as a residential agent last year, I closed, I think, 28 transactions, right? So I do it a couple a month. Commercial agents might do 1 or 2 a year. Like, they didn't even know the forms. They didn't even fill them out. They have a secretary fill out the forms for them, or an assistant, because they don't even know how to do them. But they don't know what the forms say either. They're not as good as I am as an agent. I made myself be a better agent so my clients would be better served by me. So anyhow, your grandsons have money and potential. I have 2 granddaughters. William Holmes, I'd have to vet your daughters pretty hard. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be very particular before I let my grandson go out with just anybody. I can't speak for Sherry. I have a feeling, Sherry, you want to see Sherry's grandson. I have a feeling you better have your act together there too. Okay, list of all probate listings. How do I get the list? Carol asks me. Carol Waldron, Carol, where are you located?
San Diego.
Got it. San Diego. So what I'll say is that there's multiple sources of data. So one source of data is the multiple listing service. I coach agents. You should create a search in your multiple listing of every probate listing that comes through and look at that starters. Get the full, in my market, it's called the agent detail full. And that way I can see the agents look at the listings. I can see the remarks. I can see what they're doing, what they're not doing. So there's MLS data. Second, there's commercial data you can buy from different sources. I use Probate Money as one of them I currently subscribe to. There's Foreclosures Daily. They have Probates Daily. There's a number of different sources you can buy commercial probate data filings from. Then there's the county may offer in different markets certain data online, varies by county. You need to go to your county's probate website for the court and see what data is available online. So what I can tell you is that I get every single MLS listing. I subscribe to 2 services, Probate Money and ProbateData.com. And I scrape my own data from LA County and put it all together in one database, because all those methods have a few different pieces of information that I want. I want to have the best data. So I've been on San Diego's website recently. I don't remember it in detail. What I do remember is your MLS does not have the same features that ours has. So it's a little more digging. I think It's relying on the agents putting in the keyword as opposed to a yes, no button. So you have to make sure you get that right. And I'm sure some agents don't put in the keyword. That's just how some agents are. And I would remember of your San Diego County data is not as robust as LA County's data. But whatever there is, if you have it all, then you have it all. You follow me? So I would urge you to go on the county. I urge you to take a look at buying the professional data. It's like $100 a month, and create your own. And I'll say this: if you buy data, I'd love to see it. If you want to send me a data set, and I'll show you how I analyze it. I sort it by attorneys to see which the right attorneys are. Be glad to anybody who buys a data in a certain county, wants to share the database. I'd be glad to spend a few minutes with you, walk you through, give you my strategy, what I would do with it. Okay.
One last quick question. You, on one of your prior webinars, you mentioned all the leads. Do you recommend that website?
Alltheleads.com. It's a pretty comprehensive approach to the marketing. So their primary business, they sell data. On the scale of high-end, high quality, and low-end, just the data, they're at the high end. They charge more. They claim to, and I think they do, give you better data and give it to you in a way it's more usable. They have a good CRM package. It integrates with mailing if you want to use them as mailing at a very good value. I don't subscribe to data anymore because I don't market directly to petitioners. I don't mail to petitioners. I only work with attorneys. That's my business. Yours is whatever yours is. But they also sell a website, which I do subscribe to. They also sell marketing material. I bought printed trifold. You know what? I have them somewhere. Well, anyhow, trifold. They're on their website, alltheleads.com. I just picked the first one. I'm not very creative. I put my colors and my picture on it and bought it. But I use a trifold brochure. I think it's great. They have coaching. Bruce Hill is a great coach. Very good on lead generation and prospecting. So they have, again, the data, they have a website, they have print material, and they have coaching, and some of it's very good, and I subscribe to a lot of it. They also have a free call every Thursday, I think at noon. I go into that sometimes as well. So alltheleads.com.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Eva asks, I see your situation. Where do you do business? What county or what state? She asks about your local newspaper, and Mark Pedroza points out that I think Mark previously told us about a county that had all the data. You're in Lancaster, so Eva, the data you're asking for would be Lancaster, which is LA County, right? So the newspaper is not going to have, the local newspaper is not going to have all the probates. There is a newspaper that all the probates in LA County have to be published in, and it is available online. You can search through that, and you'll see the publications of the probate filings. You'll see the publications of the petitions to confirm property. It's a little cumbersome to get it that way, but it is available. I don't know what is the link? I don't remember the link. I want to say Daily Commerce, Los Angeles. Let me just see real quick if I can find that. There you go. Hey, Bill, you got pretty good memory. So legalstore.com is the actual website that you can go to, and you can search there for different types of probate, of different types of legal filings, including probate filings, the opening of a case, and probate court confirmation of sale petitions. So that's another source. That's free. You can go online and look at that for free. So I've used that. Mark says in San Francisco and Sacramento, all probate data files are online to the county's website. Great. Now, to be a little more specific, Mark, though, there's certain fields that are available and certain fields that aren't. Some files are available. Most files are available. Some are confidential. So it's a great source. I would definitely urge you, pick one county and learn everything about it first before you start going any further, if you're going to work on cases with petitioners or attorneys. Now, if of the 11 ways I identify, you're going to decide to pick, say, senior housing advisors. It doesn't matter what the filings are. You want to get every senior housing company in the area, and that's a different approach. But if your goal is to learn about the probate cases, definitely go to your county website. Just Google search Los Angeles County Probate Court and go to the official court website and see what data is available there. And I always tell people, whatever's there is there. Like, just learn what's there. Be the master of what is there. Don't worry about what's not. Just make sure you learn what is there. Okay. You are welcome, Eva. Eva, you're especially welcome because my grandmother's name was Eva. So, and my financial planner's name is Eva. She's got all my money right now. So, well, not all of it. But. Okay, I think I have all the questions. Let me just check on the social media. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, and feel free to put a question in there, and I get to all those. I think we're all caught up to date for any questions. Was this helpful, this topic? Yeah. So next week we have a great eviction attorney out of San Francisco. He's amazing. He can give us some great insight to probate, holdover, errors, kind of what that process is. So I think it's really, really of value. If you're interested, getprobate.cash is a program I've launched on how to use probate advances to get cash for heirs up front. So you can use the money to hire attorneys, pay for legal costs, fix up a house, personal needs, as well as to generate leads, as well as to generate some short-term cash for you if you sell those policies. So glad to talk about that. That's on Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. Glad to help you with this stuff. This is recorded on YouTube. You can go to probateweekly.com to register for the live call, or you can go to episodes.probateweekly.com to see the recorded episodes going backwards. I'm Bill Gross. I'm in LA, California. If you're interested in joining my probate team, which really, for the most part, means joining my brokerage, eXp Realty. If you're open to that and want to talk about what that could look like in your state or your county and how I can help you build your platform, I'd love to talk about that. Feel free to reach out to me. And otherwise, call, text, email if I can help in any way. This Probate Weekly we do every Thursday at 4 o'clock. Thank you very much, everybody who participated. Really appreciate you. Sherry, thank you for jumping in. It was great meeting you.